Welcome to Transits Fridays. Today is the 1st of November and we're having the new moon as we speak. So that's what this video is going to be mainly about. Let's have a look at the chart of this new moon and a little bit of the movement of the planets for this week as well until next Friday. But mainly, let's look at what energies the chart for this new moon Scorpio is reflecting right now. So we can all ponder, we can all work on, we can all reflect and plant some seeds consciously, right? Because remember, this is constructive astrology. So this is all about working with the energies in the best way that we can, in order to co-create with the universe, basically. So how can we use these energies creatively? So here we are, 1st of November, Friday, the chart for the new moon. The new moon is happening at 9 degrees Scorpio. And I think from the get-go, this is a very it's a very powerful one. Is in Scorpio, but is also in the very first day of the month. We're having that next month as well when we have the new moon, 1st of December. But I just really love that. It's almost like a double whammy of new beginnings and layered on top of each other, right? So we're really working with a very fresh new energy here. And on that note, I did have a haircut as well. It was really long overdue. My hair is just so long. Anyhow, yes. So let me know in the comments as well, as usual. How was your week? How was your astrological, transits? How did they manifest? Did you get any chances for resting, for preparing for this new moon? What are you doing today as well with the energy of the new moon or this weekend as well? So I do believe that the energy will be lingering on until the weekend. So 9 degrees is Scorpio. Now, one of the first things that call my attention is the fact that the new moon is forming a trine to Saturn. So we do have a sense of whatever we plant in terms of seeds for this month, we can accomplish, we can turn it into reality, we can bring it to fruition. So obviously, water signs will be talking about a less tangible realm, but it could be about communicating emotions, healing emotions, sharing our emotions with our loved ones, or healing our emotional connections in some way, and becoming more aware as well of the depths of our emotions with a new moon Scorpio. The Scorpio is also a lot about regeneration, right? Healing, regeneration, transformation. And I think that theme is really very powerful here because the ruler of this new moon is Mars and Pluto as well. So Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio, and Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio, and they're both forming an opposition. And that's an opposition that will be perfecting. So it's almost perfected. It's both are at 29 degrees, but they're not perfected yet. Look, 44 minutes of arc, and Mars is 4 minutes of arc. So they're coming to perfect. That's happening. That's about to happen during this week. So it's a very powerful aspect, and a very powerful aspect for a few reasons. It's happening at 29 degrees, which is known as the crisis degree. So the planet tends to feature very strongly in a chart when it's found at 29 degrees of a sign. Another thing is obviously both rulers of the new moon are forming that opposition. But also, when we have Pluto and Mars involved like this, it really intensifies the energy, intensifies the cycle. So this is a snapshot of a new cycle. So this new cycle is bound to be very intense times two. Is intense because it's in Scorpio, and the Scorpio does talk about something that's uncomfortable. One of my academy students yesterday was just talking about how their feeling was when their progressed moon shifted from Scorpio to Sagittarius, and how throughout those 2 years and a half in Scorpio, there was a real feeling of discomfort. And I think that's one of the key words when we have a Scorpio is discomfort. When we think about comfort, we think about Uranus. not Uranus, but think about Taurus. It's because I saw Uranus in Taurus here. Taurus has a connection to comfort, physical comfort, emotional comfort as well, and comfort, material, etc., stability. Scorpio will be talking about the discomfort that takes us further, that gets us working on who we are or the real deep things or doing the shadow work. I mean, shadow work isn't meant to be comfortable. So the new moon being in Scorpio is already talking about a cycle that's intense. But then we have those two forming an opposition, then we really intensify, we turn up that volume a few notches. So a Mars Pluto opposition here for me, we'll be talking about a cycle where we're going to be dealing with issues of assertion, um, saying no. I think there's a lot of those issues have been lingering already. We talked about that with the full moon in Aries, with the fact that the North Node is in Aries, Chiron is in Aries as well. So we've been talking about learning how to set boundaries, learning um how to have a healthier relationship with anger, and how anger can be connected with our separation, our need to individuate. There is no individuation without our ability to separate. And Mars really represents that. Now, we can also think about the signs, obviously, where they're found, and issues around the balance between private life and public life, work-life balance, being a workaholic or spending a lot of time at home or with the family, doing what the family wants rather than what you want as well. All of those issues will be brought to the forefront. So that's something that's really, really strong here in the chart of this new moon. But also, this opposition between Mars and Pluto is involved in a grand configuration. We have a kite pattern in the sky. So there is a sextile between Pluto at 29 with Mercury at 28 Scorpio and Neptune at 27 Pisces. So this is the small blue triangle that we see here. And then that's joined to a grand trine involving Mercury in Scorpio, Mars in Cancer, and Neptune in Pisces. For me, again, this grand trine is really hammering down the idea that there is a lot of healing that's possible during this month, during this cycle. A lot of forgiveness, a lot of defrosting. I think that's a vision that it keeps coming back to my mind, or keeps coming into my head, is defrosting emotions. So congealed emotions from the past, that's the Scorpio, that's the Mars in Cancer as well, potentially, and the Pluto as well. And then the trine to Neptune and to Mercury in Scorpio as well. So Mercury bringing that into our consciousness, allowing us to find words to share that or to understand that as well, to communicate that. And in a way, forgive the past, forgive what's been done or the wrong that we've suffered on some level. And it could be a far, far away past, or it could be something a little bit more recent. It really depends where you are in your life. As usual, as always with astrology, is always heavily reliant on context. So you need to bring the context of your life into this. And you can bring more context by mixing this chart with your natal chart. And so where is 9 degrees of Scorpio? Do you have anything at those degrees? Do you have anything at the final degree of the cardinal signs? That will be activating, or will be activated by the Pluto Mars opposition, and so on. So really placing these planets in your natal chart will give you a lot more context, and obviously your own life story and where you're at. But the feeling here is really of defrosting emotions, liberating, making a space in our psyches so we can really move on. We can really have a fresh start. Remember, we're also in a penultimate month of the year. So I really feel this can be a real blessing in terms of preparing the ground for next year, for 2025, for really what we want to manifest, what we really want to bring to life in the following year as well. So a lot of work here on letting go or reclaiming our power as well with the Pluto Mars and with the kite as well, which is a very karmic grand configuration. And having Pluto being in such a under the spotlight here in this configuration, it really is talking about evolution, growth, karma, you know, past life stuff that we really potentially can be dealing with as well around this time. Now, another flavor here that really makes me think about healing further is Venus forming a trine to Chiron. So we've got Venus at 17 degrees Sag, coming to trine Chiron at 20 degrees Aries, and a sextile between Chiron and Jupiter, which will be in orb for a little while here because they move a little slower. But also, obviously, Chiron is involved in the opposition here between Mars and Pluto if you consider wider orbs. There's a 9-degree separation here between the square with Mars and Pluto. And Chiron is ruled by Mars. So we're really talking about deep wounds connected with our sense of individuality, our sense of separation, not caring about what other people say or what other people think or what other people want you to do. Now, we're not talking about toxic individuality or toxic individualism. We're talking about healthy boundaries, a healthy sense of separation. And those issues are going to be really, really triggered around, today and for the whole month as well as a, part of the cycle here. So that's pretty much it. I mean, we have a Mercury opposition to Uranus, which I also think could be connected with lightning bolt insights. That Venus Jupiter opposition in Sagittarius and Gemini here as well could be talking about potential insights that we have. Gemini and Sag are really about information, and they're a lot more intellectual here as well. So it could be seeing the bigger picture in this situation and in this potential for growth that we're having during such an intense new lunar cycle. Now, let's go around the week and see what else have we got. I'll be going away this week, so I'm very excited. It's a 3-year anniversary with my partner, and we're gonna go to a bit of a spiritual retreat place or a bit of a spiritual accommodation. There's not really internet, and I really feel that's gonna be a treat. I just got myself a Kindle. I'm gonna buy a few books to take with me and just sit by the pool and get some massages and treatments and renew the energies for next year. So I guess I'm really gonna use this energy, this Scorpio, Pluto energy for regeneration and for reclaiming my inner life and my spiritual life a little bit more. I sometimes feel the hyper connection that we have right now and being online 24/7, it feels like it's like hammering like my third eye. Like I really feel sometimes there's like a hole in this part and it's almost physically painful. And I'm really reflecting on that and reflecting on positive ways of working with being so connected and the internet, and obviously having a channel like this is a wonderful opportunity, or teaching my master classes and having my academy group and is wonderful, but it brings its challenges as well of hyper connection. So um I've been really reflecting on that and how to bring more balance, but I digress. That's a personal reflection here. Anyhow, Saturday tomorrow we've got the perfection here between the trine with Mercury and Mars. So actions and thoughts can be a bit aligned. Mercury can help us with that opposition and the power struggles of Mars Pluto, of like really understanding it and having more compassionate communication somehow. That could be wonderful. But this week we have the ingresses, right? So we have Mercury ingressing to Sagittarius, which is going to be happening this weekend. So our minds are getting lifting up a little bit. There's a little bit of a shift of flavor into a more fiery energy after this new moon. So really holding the vision further and being a little bit more future oriented with this um shift of motivation, right? That the elements represent. The Venus Jupiter opposition will be perfected here as well during the weekend, so both at 20 degrees. So it can really expand our vision, expand our love, perhaps, but also see the bigger picture in relationships. I think this could be an interesting one. And obviously, Venus Jupiter in a challenging aspect is always calling us to be cautious on overdoing things, exaggerating, overdoing, overeating, over partying, etc. So that's that right there for you. And on Monday, we've got Mars ingress to Leo. Again, that shift of energy from water to fire and from more extroversion in our lives. A little bit more extroverted energy, a little bit more self-expression, a little bit more creativity outwards rather than just inwards and inner life. So that's a big shift of energy that's going to be happening. Obviously, the moon will be in Sag as well for a few days, around the time that those shifts are happening. So we might feel it very strongly. And there's a bit of a grand trine here that's beginning to be formed between Mercury. Pardon, my nose is just so blocked right now. I don't know what's happening. So between Mercury, the North Node, and Mars as well in the early degrees of the fire signs. And again, I feel healing the vision, healing the individuality, the sense of future potentials. I think, the water signs can be very attached to the past, to the emotional security and containment. And that shift into fire signs is a little bit more fast-paced and driven and looking up and looking forward to what's to come. So I think we can feel a little bit of that during this week, like from Monday, Tuesday onwards, as the planets shift signs. Now, this is Thursday. Still that Mercury North Node, Mars at 1 degree, obviously still within or with the opposition with Pluto. And here we are, that's Friday, the 8th of November. And obviously I'll be back with another video, which, I'm not really personally going to be back because I'm going to be on my retreat. So I'm going to record a video beforehand and write down in the comments how you're feeling. What do you think about this new moon, where it's falling in your chart, and what are your plans with this energy? How you've been feeling this energy? And also for next week's video, just leave your comment, even if it's going to take me a few days to reply, because I'm really planning to take a little detox, a little technology detox apart from my Kindle. So I'll be back. I'll be back to reply to the comments on the following Sunday. But I will be posting a video. So take care. I hope you have a wonderful new beginning, a wonderful new moon, and lots of love. And I'll see you next week. Mwah. Bye bye. Take care.